These are things that I didn't do, and looking back, I wish I would have done them. Something that smells like you, because your boobies are not ready to produce milk when you have a premature baby. It's not normal. When people ask you if you're okay and you're not okay, tell them you're not okay, because they're there to help you and they will help you. My biggest fear right now is I didn't think I'd get emotional. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about our NICU journey with our second baby, tips and tricks that we learned along the way, kind of what we wish we would have known because we were not expecting to go there. It was a complete surprise. So if you think you can benefit from this video, then keep on watching. Just a quick little summary of why our baby was in the NICU. I went into spontaneous labor in the middle of the night. The day I turned 34 weeks, I woke up and my water had broken and I was very confused. I had no idea what was going on. And I called my doctor and he said, go to the hospital right away. So I went to the hospital. They tried to stop it as much as they could. I was only able to get one steroid shot for his lungs. And then about an hour later, after I got the shot, he was born. It was very quick. It was a huge surprise. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of shock having a baby at 34 weeks, especially when your last baby wasn't premature, not planning on it. There was no red flags in my pregnancy. I was not high risk. I was very low risk. It was very quick checkups. I looked great. So having him at 34 weeks was a complete shock. I had no idea what the NICU was even about. I had no idea that he would be there for so long. I was just completely overwhelmed with the NICU. It made me feel like a new mom. I had my first, and then with the second, you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do this, this, and this better. I'm not gonna do this, this, and this. They go to the NICU and they're preemie baby, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I felt like a totally new mom. Everything was different. Everything got thrown out the window, and I had to learn all this new stuff. So I definitely wish I would have known a little bit about the NICU just in case when I was having kids. First thing I would talk about is pumping. So if you plan on breastfeeding or pumping, they will give you a medical grade pump to use yourself. They will give you all of the supplies. You don't have to buy a single thing. They will give you everything for the medical grade pump because your boobies are not ready to produce milk when you have a premature baby. So you need something stronger like a medical grade pump to stimulate your boobies and get them ready to go to feed baby. And if you're not planning on breastfeeding or pumping, they will give you all of the formula. You don't have to worry about that either. So all the formula, all of the pumping stuff, everything you need, they will have it. They even have breastfeeding pillows and everything like that. So if your baby is too little and not strong enough to breastfeed yet, get ready to pump and pump like crazy to stimulate your boobies. I was not able to breastfeed him until I want to say like a week into it. And so I was pumping so much. My boobies, like I talked in a previous video, need a lot more stimulation, I feel like. And so I was pumping like every 2 hours on the dot, trying to get as much milk as I could. It took forever for my milk to come in because I was just not with him. And it sucked. I also had him during the beginning of, and so I was not allowed to be there for over, I think it was like 10 hours or something like that. So I would get there as soon as I could, stay for exactly 10 hours, and then I would leave. And my husband and I weren't allowed to go there in the same time. If I left, I couldn't come back. It was just this whole thing. Just the fact that I was even able to breastfeed, I feel like was a miracle for me because I wasn't around him enough. And my boobs are not like, I talked about this in a previous video, my boobs are not like a cow and I don't produce all this overload of milk. I have to really work hard for them to produce a good amount. And so just the fact that I was able to breastfeed him, I think the reason I was able to breastfeed because I just kept stimulating my boobs as much as I could. I would watch videos of him. I would take videos of him in the NICU. And then when I was home and I was pumping through the night, I would watch videos of him. I would look at pictures of him because you need them close to you to get those endorphins, to get your letdown and everything going. And it was really hard for me to feel my letdown. I wasn't getting it unless I like had to watch a video of him. So that's another tip, is take videos and pictures of your baby. So when you get home, you can look at them. And if you're pumping, or if you even if you're not pumping, even if you just miss them, take as much videos and pictures as you can because it's so hard to leave them. Every night I would pack my bag, get everything ready to go. There were a couple things that I needed to bring because I was there for so long. I couldn't go and come as I pleased. First thing I packed was a huge water bottle. When you're pumping or breastfeeding, you know you get super thirsty. So that was a must, a big, huge thing of water. The second thing is all of the pumping supplies. So I would take all the pumping supplies, all the tubes tubes and everything from home, and then I had another medical grade pump that they let me take home as well. So I would just take the little tubes, everything, come home, I would pump through the night, clean them, and then I would go back into the NICU. And when you have a NICU baby, you need to sterilize your pumps and your bottles a lot because obviously their immunity system is not as strong. The next thing is milk-friendly snacks, things that were like high in protein, quick, easy snacks on the go, and obviously snacks, even if you're not breastfeeding or pumping, just to stay alive because you're gonna get so tired, you're so exhausted, and you need some energy to keep going. The next thing is headphones. I personally did not have my own room. I know some people in some hospitals get their own room in the NICU. That's not how it was for us. It was, I guess you'd call it like a little room, but it was just a sheet over, and I probably had like a 4x4 space. It was not big. I couldn't really get up and walk around. I had a chair. He was right next to me, and then whoever would come into our curtain room would just stand in the empty space, and that was it. So we were right next to a ton of people. There's probably like 15 curtains in one big room. So I would bring headphones so you have some more privacy when you're on your phone or talking to people. You just have that little bit more privacy with your headphones, so I'd definitely bring those. But obviously if you have your own room, then you don't have to worry about that. And then some basic things like a phone charger. I did bring my own personal pillow and blanket because I slept there throughout the day and stuff too. So I would sleep on this little recliner. So having my own big pillow and blanket was really nice way to get comfy because I wanted to take naps too while Cal was taking a nap. I also brought obviously my phone and then some books. At the very beginning, I wasn't allowed to hold him for a long time. And even when I did start holding him, I think it was like 4 days when I first held him for the first time, I was only allowed to hold him for so long because they just get stimulated and they need to go back into their little, like, I called it a cocoon, but you know what I mean, the little preemie baby bed. But you can only hold them for so long in the beginning. So I brought like entertainment, stuff to keep me busy and stuff to keep me distracted because I was crying a lot. You can also bring clothes and blankets for your baby if you want to. They also will provide everything for your child, clothes, blanket wise, burp rags, they'll have all of that for you. But if you wanted to make it more personal, of course you can bring your own stuff. You can also bring something of yours, like a little small blanket or shirt, something that smells like you. If you're breastfeeding, it's actually really important if it's your smell because then they can sense you and smell your smell. And then you lay it next to them and then they can smell you when you're gone. And it's like actually kind of breaks my heart, but I used to do that all the time because I wanted him to smell me when I was gone from him. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is you need to be honest with yourself, with your doctors, and with your spouse. So if you are just telling yourself, like I did, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm okay, and then you'd have mental breakdowns, don't do that. If your doctor, if your husband, if someone asks you, are you okay, and you're not, tell them you're not okay because they are there to help you, they will help you, and things get really, really hard when you're not with your baby and you're leaving your baby. It is psychological, it's not normal, and so when people ask you if you're okay and you're not okay, tell them you're not okay because they're there to help you and they will help you. And furthermore, you should have like check-ins with your spouse. These are things that I didn't do, and looking back, I wish I would have done them. Have these like little mental check-ins with your spouse when you come home after the NICU. Say, how are you doing? What are your big struggles right now? How can we work through this? Just talk. I think I just didn't talk to anyone and I internalized so many things and it ended up not being very good for me mentally and not good for my relationship with my husband. So that is something that I definitely look back and I'm like, you were in a lot of pain and you didn't talk to anyone, and I wish I would have. And you need to say yes when someone offers help, and not only need to say yes, but you need to be specific on what you need, because if someone says, hey, can I help you? And you say yes, and then you just leave it at that, it's hard for them to help you, especially when they've put out that gesture, they want to help you. It's not a bad thing to be specific about what you need. So if someone says, hey, going through a really hard time, you have to leave your kids, how can I help you? You say, thank you so much. It would be really great if you could come home and clean my house because I know that it's a pigsty right now. Be specific about what you need with your meals, with your house, with your kids, with your spouse. That rhymed. Didn't mean to, but it did. But you do need to be specific about what you need, and then of course be very, very grateful. And you know, maybe in the moment you're not gonna be as grateful. Like I look back and I'm like, I really didn't say thank you enough to all the people that helped me and brought me dinners. But then after it's all said and done, you could send them a quick text, even if it's months later, just send them a quick text and say, hey, thank you so much for bringing me dinner. That meant a lot to me. And I feel like that would go a long way. You don't expect to go to the NICU if your doctor doesn't tell tell you in your pregnancy. And so when it did happen, it was just a huge shock and I'm not gonna lie, it was a really sucky time in our life. We were really grateful to have this baby, but I wouldn't want anyone to ever have to leave their child when they don't want to. So it just sucks. I don't know why I had a preemie baby. I don't know. But if I'm being completely honest, my biggest fear right now is to have another baby go back there. Guess we'll just have to cross that road if it happens. I'm grateful for the things that I've learned from that experience, and hopefully they could help me if we have to go back. But I really don't want to. I really, really don't want to go back there. I don't want to ever have to leave my baby again. I didn't think I'd get emotional. Man. The NICU sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. But we did have really amazing nurses. They were great. The nurses there were just top notch, so kind, so positive. So that was good. But I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope you don't have to go through this, but if you do, I hope some of these tips helped you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.